Okay, let's think about your business partners for a second. You rely on them, you trust them, but how healthy are those relationships really? That's what we're talking about today, vendor audits. And honestly, thinking of them as a health checkup is the perfect way to get what they're all about. It's about ensuring everything's stable, compliant, and ultimately about building way stronger partnerships.
And that really is the question, isn't it? Beyond the slick sales pitch and the contract you signed, what's actually going on behind the scenes? It's that feeling of uncertainty. That's what drives the need for a structured, real way to get answers.
So, here's how we're going to break this all down. First, we'll get into why these audits are so important. Then, we'll walk through the entire audit lifecycle, step by step. After that, we'll look at the whole spectrum of different audits you can do. And finally, we'll talk about how to actually manage a whole program.
All right, first things first. Why even bother with all this? Why do vendor audits matter? Well, to put it simply, it's about moving your business relationships past the point of just a handshake and a promise and getting to a place of hard, verifiable evidence. Here's the bottom line, and if you remember one thing, make it this. Unchecked partnerships are unmanaged risks. Every single time you outsource a process, you are handing over a piece of your reputation. So an audit isn't just some friendly check-in, it's your main tool for protecting your own business.
Now, this is absolutely crucial. The ability to check up on your vendors, it's not automatic. You have to get it in writing legally, right in your contract from day one. This right-to-audit clause is the absolute foundation of your entire program. Without it, you're basically just asking nicely, with no real authority to back it up. Okay, so once you have that legal right locked in, what's next? Well, that brings us right to the audit lifecycle itself. If the why is all about managing risk, the how is this methodical, step-by-step examination process. Any solid audit follows 4 core stages. Think of it like a loop. You start with good planning. Then you move to execution, where you actually gather the evidence. Next up is reporting, getting all your findings down on paper. And, so importantly, you finish with remediation, which is where you track the fixes to make sure they actually happen. It's a complete cycle, not just a one-and-done thing. Now, when it's time to actually do the audit, that execution stage, you've basically got 2 ways to go. You have the traditional on-site audits, where you physically go visit for a really deep dive. And then you've got remote audits, which use tech to do the assessment from a distance. It really just comes down to a trade-off. On-site gives you incredible depth, but remote offers scale and efficiency. When most people hear the word audit, their mind immediately jumps to money, right? Financials. But that's just scratching the surface. There's a whole spectrum of different audits out there, each designed to look at very specific risks. Just take a look at this. The variety is huge. You could run an information security audit to check up on their cyber defenses, or an SLA audit, that's a service level agreement, to make sure they're actually hitting the performance targets they promised. You might even do a data privacy audit to ensure they're handling customer data correctly, following rules like GDPR. Each one is like a specialized tool for a very specific job. Okay, so you're doing a great job. You're auditing your direct partners. That's awesome, but let's pause for a second. What about their partners, the companies they rely on? The risk in your supply chain doesn't just stop one step away from you. And that's exactly where something called a fourth-party audit comes into play. A truly mature program looks beyond its immediate suppliers to their key subcontractors. It's all about digging deeper to understand the risks that are hidden 1 or 2 steps down the chain. Because believe me, a failure way down there can still come back and bite you. Hard. This all leads us to our final piece of the puzzle, managing the entire audit program. Now we're zooming out, moving from thinking about single one-off audits to building a whole strategic system for overseeing all your vendors. So what separates a good program from a truly great one? It's all about building a real system. That means having clear governance, knowing what success looks like with real metrics and KPIs, using dashboards so everyone can see what's going on, and investing in things like training and standardized templates. And ultimately, the best programs use automation to make it all happen at scale. A mature program is a cycle. It's always in motion. But look at this chart for a second. What's the biggest slice? A full 40% is dedicated to proactive planning. And that right there is the secret sauce. By spending a ton of effort on planning up front, everything that comes after, the execution, the monitoring, the improvement, becomes so much more effective. The goal is to get ahead of problems, not just react to them. So at the end of the day, if you take one thing away, I hope it's this. Audits are not about mistrust. It's not some gotcha game.
They are a tool for creating transparency, for building stronger, more resilient partnerships, where both sides know exactly where they stand and are working toward the same goals.
Because let's be real, your vendors are an extension of your brand. Their failure is your failure in the eyes of your customers. So the final question I'll leave you with isn't just, are you protecting your brand? It's, can you really afford not to?